What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. You can also see B. Dave Walters do a funny little dance while I read this intro. If you're here with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, TreAvor Bettis, will ask them later in the show, but until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
That was masterful. He stayed on target. I like that. I like that.
Had the targeting system on, was using the force at the same time. Everything was great.
True. Yeah, could bullseye womp rat with that focus.
Hell
yeah. Okay. After you, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga, a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realm that features two of your favorite tieflings, Frida and Habilar from Idle Champions. And also soon, Habilar from Idle Champions presents The Unfair Seas!
Yay!
Also, I play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
Yep. Yes. Tonight that is starting. That is it is finally upon us. Well, first let me tell you who I am before I start rambling about that. B. Dave Walters. I do this thing you've seen. That's it. I do the forbidden dance and I say words about things. That's what I do. Yeah, and I'm here with these lovely people, and I will be DMing the 6-part series of Idle Champions Presents, of which the first 3 is The Unfair Seas, starting tonight at 4 p.m. Pacific. The first round of votes, because you all can actually affect the show, have already happened. The second round of votes starts today at noon as soon as we are done here. So if you didn't get to vote for the first round, or even if you did vote for the first round, thank you. You can jump in today at noon PST. As soon as we're done here, go into Idle Champions, and the first round of voting is up. Then I do some other stuff, but that's the most important thing. Is that stuff right now today. This is all part of my continuing plan to just spend the maximum amount of time around Erin. That's all. This, maybe we should start a podcast or something, so then we can hang out a third time a week.
You figure out what is the maximum amount of Erin you can take before you leave?
It's true. Please
it's
consult your
like
doctor
eating a box of chocolate. At some point, you're like, "Oh no, that's too much."
No, I feel like it'll be like Chuck Yeager going for the sound barrier. Remember, all those dudes died because they would stop, and he's just like, "No, I will pass through the Erin of 1,000 Evans barrier and just peace."
Real quick, I do connecting back to Unfair Seas. I saw it real quickly. The chat card where it goes, "I am very disappointed at the lack of IRL pirate costumes."
Oh.
I have a piratey kind of shirt, but I don't got the hat. I need the hat.
See, you want to know who will go in of the cast. You can always count on Mark and Christina to make a solid showing. It is Vivka who will go in. So much so. She was like, "I'm gonna do this," and I was like, "Save that for episode 2, Vivka. Just bring it back. Yeah, you're at a 10. I need you at a 7. But then next week, although it is Vivka's birthday, by the way, so you guys,
happy birthday!
Yeah. So blow her up on Twitter. It's at Vivid Vivka, I think is her Twitter handle. So blow her up there, because I might actually blow her up in the game tonight. But
happy birthday!
Exactly. The cannons have chosen you. Yeah.
I don't remember voting for that.
That was one where I had my finger on the scale. Exactly. So we're talking about the show, but then we're trying not to spoil the show, so we're being very vague about the show. So I will say this, chat: if you all have any questions about the Unfair Seas, how it's going to go, how the transmedia component of it is going to go, how you all are affecting the narrative, how the narrative is going to affect Idle Champions, feel free to ask. If I can tell you, I will. Because
I'm
trying
anything that will make Dylan kill us.
Right, exactly. I'm trying not to be like, in episode 2 when the drag Umberhulks attack. Then, I got you, Trevor. There it is.
Hey,
make notes.
I put my little Umberhulk boy on the shelf for you. There we go.
I love them so much. I mean, again, imagine him, but fierce and surfing face. Yeah,
fierce.
So I will tell you. So I do believe in the Fleetswake adventure is the Unfair Seas Adventures live in Idle Champions right now. So you could get a taste of what's going to happen, but it will be different because we've expanded it, we've scaled it up, because there is a tabletop RPG adventure that is for D&D, obviously, that you can play at home. And the published adventure that's going to be coming out is set for 3rd level, but we don't do 3rd level around here. So I've chunked it up some.
What level are you all gonna be playing at?
9.
Okay. Very cool.
Y'all know me. I was like 20.
I know
go.
you
And they
were.
Yeah, right. And they were like, it's Fleetswake. We're not setting the world on fire. Like, I mean, it's about Umberlee. We're not fighting Umberlee. And I was like, oh.
I see. A flu.
Right. So the reason why I bumped it up though is I wanted to make sure the characters and of course the players got a chance to actually feel like they do in the game. And at level 3, that's kind of, homogenous, but by 9 you got some options, like your subclass is kicked in, you got a couple of extra things, we stashed a couple of extra items. I mean, I don't know, Erin, do you feel like you're ready to give like the full Havilar experience?
I am never ready. Every time one of these things comes up, I go, oh no, I forgot how to play D&D. I forgot how to play this character that I wrote just an ungodly number of words about.
Hey, Satine Phoenix is in the chat. Hey, Satine.
Oh, hey, Satine.
Hey.
Satine was also very fancy this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it's exciting. I am excited to play.
Good.
I have faith in you. So you're bringing
I messed
Zuni.
this up for you. I'm gonna feel so guilty.
You cannot mess this up for me. That's the joy of it. You
Wonderful
cannot
thing.
mess this up for me. The challenge. You can attempt to drive it awry. You can't. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic.
I'm just gonna make Heather's gonna be like, okay, I'm going after her, and she's just gonna jump off the boat and go to fight Umberlee and drown. No, I won't do that.
I mean, I don't know if anybody in this party has Revivify.
That's how I messed it up. Then the character's gone. And then Isle of Champions is like, what did you do?
Right.
And
No,
like,
but see,
"It was hard."
then we
No,
have
I
a
won't do
gritty
that.
reboot where Zuni's seeking revenge, where and we'll just call it Hellhound.
You're like, Erin, you did this on purpose, so now you're gonna play a dog. That's your punishment.
Punishment or reward. Yes.
So what is some lore that we can talk about around this that is non-spoiler? Like you said, Fleetswake.
Fleetswake.
Yeah, Fleetswake.
Fleetswake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a part of Fleetswake. All the sailors show up.
I'm not gonna lie, I tried while I was in the shower this morning to come up with a title for this episode that was somehow Fleetswake and Fleetwood Mac.
I feel like you just did with Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetswake Mac.
Yeah.
I should have just said that, dang it.
It was done.
So what's some lore about that? What is it? What's going on there?
So Fleetswake, normally the events are set in and around Waterdeep. I will not spoil for you that our adventure will not be set in and around Waterdeep, although I suppose if you go and play Idle Champions right now, you can at least find out where the adventure will be set. But the Festival of Fleetswake actually predates the founding of Waterdeep, where caravans and merchants would still gather in this area to make offerings to Umberlee, because again, it tends to go poorly for you if you don't. And just to get together and have fun and celebrate. And there was like definitely a religious component, but also a very piratey component to it as well. It's
like boat
piratey religion.
And
Yeah,
piratey religion.
Piratey religion. Yeah. It's not rules, it's really more like guidelines.
I guess it'd be our mother. But
That's all it's gonna be. It's just these pirate ships on a loop for 3 hours and occasional dice.
Let me tell you something. It would work. It would work.
It would.
No.
I'd watch it. I'm gonna be there.
Wow, our father. But yeah, it is. Since I know, Erin, you're so passionate about the calendar system, it is during the last 10-day of chess. Is Are the months even 30 days in Faerun? Did we ever even establish that?
Yeah,
yep.
they
3 10 days.
Yep.
3 10 days, and then there are 5 intercalculary days, if I remember right.
I just love hearing you say that word. That's why you brought it up again. I actually remember last time. But yeah, it is a time of just making appeals to all the maritime gods for luck, protection, gratitude. All the sea gods get some hype during this time. But again, normally Uberlee is number one there. There's things like boat races. There's a big old ball. There's galas. There's usually a Fair Seas Festival, which is the last 2 days of Fleetswake, which I just like saying because otherwise I do just say Fleet Week.
Yep.
Fleetswake. It was WAKE, like what a ship leaves and behind it when it goes by. Fleetswake. And yeah, it's been going on since at least 1088, which even though, you know, we've established the calendrical system gets wonky, that it is simultaneously always right now and yet has a history. But that's 400-ish years. This has been going on, and you don't have to pay your docking fee when you come into town. Normally, that you would have to pay to moor your ship in the harbor district of Waterdeep, but you are expected to give a 1 gold donation. And at the end of Fleetswake, all of that treasure is thrown into the sea, into a hidden cache that is Umberlee's cache, that is protected by merfolk and, quite frankly, probably protected by Uberlee as well. I do not recommend. Yeah. Wait, did you say were sharks?
They're were sharks. Yeah.
Nope.
Now what about a frost giant were shark?
That's where my mind was going. I was like, I can work this out. Although, wait, didn't we already establish there were those like orca were shark?
Yeah, and I just remembered. I forgot I was gonna go get that book. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try to remember next week.
Yeah.
Because I don't. I love them. They're so weird, and I love them.
Yep.
I knew I could count on at least one person in the chat doing it, and of course it was Garwar. Where shark? There shark.
Thank you for coming with us on this adventure, Garwar. Thank you very much. Yeah. Garwar, also, shout out to Garwar, resident expert on Fleetswake, because Garwar has written the guide to the previous years of Fleetswake for Idle Champions.
Hey.
So, not just a pretty face. I know he's unspeakably beautiful, but also knows a thing or two about Idle Champions.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But it's true. It takes time and effort to grow that thing. So, yeah, that is the backdrop of the show. I will say, since I guess this part isn't a spoiler, you all kind of got to vote why our band of heroes were coming together, and a common friend is what won. So, you know, a homie has rallied you all to where you're going to be to do the things that you're going to do, and you can tune in at 4 o'clock.
Pretty lucky to have gotten all these people here.
He must be a really great guy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly tall for Yep. And yeah, and it's gonna be a grand old time. And I think the tone of I mean, it's me, so I'm still gonna hit them over the head as often as possible, but it should be a pretty fun, yeah, pretty fun romp. Yeah, it should be a grand old time.
So with that as the backdrop, and we got TreAvor being given to Uberlee. Who for people who don't know, who is Uberlee?
Uberlee is the goddess of the sea, the bitch queen.
The bitch queen.
That is her most common title. I think Uberlee kind of gets an unfair shake because she is chaotic evil by the alignment system. But really, I mean chaotic because the ocean. I think she just wants some damn respect. Like, people are just plowing across the ocean. She's like, I have a storm here. Did you even see it?
Appreciate the storm.
Right? Like, I'm not going to change because you want to move your little boats across here. And so she's worshipped in a propitiatory manner, so that sailors will throw treasure off their ships to appease her. Mm-hmm. Or Fleetswake will get a bunch of treasure and chuck it in the ocean for a longer appeasement period. One presumes that the sea elves that reside in the Sea of Fallen Stars and the Sea of Swords are decked out because they can't all get to Umberlee. But
it can though.
Anyway. They could. She could be like, you dropped it there and he grabbed it. It doesn't count.
Yeah, it can though. I wonder. We talk about like the evolutionary systems and kind of like the cultural significance of some of these things. I wonder if Fleetswake, since it's been going on for 400 years now, if like there is a for lack of a better word, a hurricane season in Faerun, and if Fleetswake is right at the beginning of it, like let's just all buy off Uberlee collectively, because remember what happened that last time we didn't, Yeah.
I also like the idea.
That's the new canon now.
I also like the idea that she's like forgotten about this cache of gold. like they're like, wow. It's like 2 months later. They're like, man, the storms are still beating the crap out of our boats. Like I thought we paid, like we gave her money. She's just like, what? You did? Oh, you still do that? Oh.
See, you know, it's funny. You're like, she forgot about it. To me, I'm like, she's like, how dare you think you could just buy my affections with gold? Although, keep sending the gold. But
absolutely keep sending.
But if you got to think about it, after 400 years, that's got to be a pretty voluminous hoard in Uberlee's secret cache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like, what does she do with it? Like, this is clearly what the system has been persisting throughout. The realms throughout the rune that you throw treasure in the sea for Umberlee.
Yeah.
So it must have, I mean, it must work sometimes. But what is she doing with it?
Yeah, like with the dragon, it's like he just needed a new bed, but like she's God.
Yeah, my short answer is whatever she wants.
A continent.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Of gold, of gold. To
lure adventurers to crush them, which was her true ambition all along.
Yes.
She's playing the long game. Yes, keep throwing the treasure in, build it up. Be like, ooh, I hear there's a continent of treasure on the other side of that hurricane-infested ocean.
Everybody's like, between Scylla and Charybdis, you say. Perhaps I should go and investigate. Yeah, you know, it's funny though, because my mind went a different place. That she's got this super like hipster hobby that nobody would believe she's really into. What if she's just like super passionate about like stamp collecting, and like she can't do it well because she can't bring them under the water. She'll mess up the stamps, right? So she needs all this money because she's got like a really great, like she's got like, you know, like I've got a 12th century Elminster, you know, from Shadowdale, you know, right here, like you wouldn't believe it, and everybody's like, Uberlee, you're into stamps, and she's like, I knew it was stupid. It just storms. You know?
I have to say what Jay put in the chat about her is they say Uberlee has a dragon friend who she has an ongoing competition with, and she's winning.
I mean, you got to think a lot of boats go across the waves, and if you know they're all throwing in just kind of a handful of gold, like she's got to be like the wealthiest deity. I mean, although Bahamut, his unspeakably large palace is like lined with platinum walls, so like Bahamut's stunting pretty hard though.
Mm-hmm. You've got Joaquin, who's literally the goddess of like wealth, like. Which I mean, like, not to harken back too hard to the spell plague and the gods are different gods in disguise, but I would have very much enjoyed finding out that Joaquin and Uberlee were the same person.
They're not the same person.
Right? You ever see them in the same room?
I got a plan. Or maybe that's it. Maybe they're not the same person, but they're like on the same heist team, basically. Joaquin calls up, she's like, I have a plan. You gonna mess people up, and we get so much gold. And Uberlee's like, I'm in.
Right. Like Joaquin's the accountant for Uberlee, you know? Like, then they keeping track of her wares. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
No, that works.
So she's gonna play some role in this. Don't want to go too far into that. We'll see what happens. See how it's.
I will say Uberlee is pivotally sacred to Fleetswake.
Could show up, you know. Maybe.
I mean, you're level 9. I hope she doesn't, but maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
That's
you know,
we need avatars.
That is true.
What?
It's
good.
Oh no. I just want to say this one more thing about Uberlee. It is always funny to me, and I think we've talked about this before. This concept of the people that worship the evil gods, you know, that you're kind of like, please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. No. Like, is it like we talked about Oriel? Is it that kind of situation, but with just gold? No human sacrifices going on that we know of, anyways.
Some people.
I think the Sahuagin and Uberlee are. I'm actually not sure now that I say that. They have their own god too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because they're like quasi Lovecraftian deities. I think.
They worship Dagon or something.
I think they
Father
have
Dagon and Mother Hydra.
100% positive. I mean, I feel like you live in the ocean. You better worship Uberlee a little bit.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that like they worship Dagon and he's like, yes, I am the best. He's like, Uberlee, here, have some pleasure.
I do
You're
also
so pretty
feel like
today.
I feel like plenty of people that were sent to walk the plank were dedicated to Uberlee.
Oh no.
Also, so she's gotten plenty of humanoid sacrifice over time.
I have to point out, Aaron has now made another god that has a crush on another god, and it's Dagon. Umberlee, you're the best. He's like, notice me, senpai.
And she's like full on mean girl, like just, like the Devil
God.
Wears Prada.
Umberlee's the Regina George of the Forgotten Realms.
She is.
This is also a thing where I enjoy the idea of, because it is a polytheistic world. Like there's a certain tendency, especially because when we pick characters that have divine connections, we're tending to pick ones that have a particular devotion, right? So this gets into like henotheism, where it's like, well, I know there's a lot of gods, but I really worship the Lathander. But the idea that all these gods exist and they have purpose, that you worship these sort of quote unquote evil deities because they can help you in these really dangerous times and places, I really enjoy, and I think it makes sense. And then you can still have evil Uberlee cultists who want to tie you to a coral reef and drown you in the tide.
What manner of monster would do such a thing? Now let me say
Can I
this.
just figure out what's gonna happen? You're better than that.
Nah, you didn't. But although if some things happen in the show that we've come up with, I fully expect Aaron to be like,
I'm not saying anything next week. Let's talk about the god of fluffy bunnies.
I'm like, no, let me make a note. That's tying you up and drowning you in the harbor is way better than the thing I had planned. Cool. But I will say two things.
An hour of trying to pick knots on a ropes.
It's true. Yeah, you're like, tides coming in, crabs on your toes. I don't know, dude. Yeah. But one thing that I would point out that like we talked when we first began our grand adventure into this series so long ago. We talked about, the bringing the lore to life and like thinking about like, well, what must this mean in this world? If like real living, thinking, sentient beings are in this world, why would it be like that? That's that stuff like, why would Fleetswake be right now? Is it the storm season? Why would people like venerate Umberlee? Because, because she could decimate you instantly. Like one of my favorite depictions of her is where she's got the boat and she's got like the trident in her other hand, and the dolphins are like, do it, kill him, because there's not many scarier things than a stormy sea at night. So it makes sense that she would be there. So it's I would say as you think about these things, that they're like factoids on a wiki page when you read them, or footnotes in a book. Like think about in a living, breathing, real place, what would that really be like? Why would someone really do that? Why would someone really care about this? Why would these rituals really matter? And it kind of like adds some extra zazz to the whole thing.
Love it. Well, let's talk a little bit about the characters that we're gonna see in this, and I'm gonna Mike Wazowski myself here in the stream for a little bit as I put up the awesome new poster by Luke McKay that is just showing everyone being so freaking cool.
It's really great.
So let's see.
Lauren, tell Luke we said shout out to Luke. Shout out to Luke.
Yeah. Tell him, let him know we love him. But
I'm like, turn up the speakers. He can hear us.
Luke!
Yeah.
Luke!
We love your art, and I may be your father.
I'm glad you went that way, because I was yelling Luke. I'm like, who, my Aunt Peru?
It's true. Pour up that blue milk, man. Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Lowen and Aunt Peru.
Right?
Our homies who ain't here.
Yeah. God. So let's see. Who do we want to talk about? I mean, we have
Risha's new this week.
Oh yeah, that's true. The new champion coming to the game this week, Ariza.
Thank you.
Is going to be, and again, just looks so freaking cool in this poster. I can't stop looking at it.
I love
Luke's art has that effect.
I know, right?
In her wings.
Yep. Ariza's new this week.
And then so. I haven't gotten to watch the streams that Ariza has been in. So what do you guys know about Ariza?
So Ariza in here's the problem. Christine and I just did Dimension 20 Pirates of Leviathan together. So Bob is what is in my mind, but I'm pretty sure I don't even want to say it wrong. I'm not even going to gamble and say it right. I know what I think, and I'm going to say it wrong, and she'll find out, and she'll be mad at me because she's the real Uberlee of our relationship. So.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
So I know she was in Sirens, right?
Yeah, she's from the character originally is from Sirens of the Realm, and she's played her in a bunch of other places
And
too.
that's the character. Isn't that not actually the character she plays in Improvised Champions too, right?
Well, I think they kind of
they changed
improvise
it.
all the champions and improvise.
I thought they took. That's
yeah,
right when my son has preschool, and I really want to watch it, and I always miss it, and then don't forget to go back because.
Yeah, Mark
Right,
and her
so
both
she-
play.
she-
He plays Bailoff and she plays
that
Ariza.
back.
So I checked here. So remember, for the characters in Idle Champions, they work slightly differently than they do in D&D, obviously, because it's a different system. You know, the way that Freely had to be condensed a little bit. So Ariza is an Aasimar whose radiant soul brings divine fury to the battlefield with style and grace. When her flaming wings ignite, Ariza gains a stack of buffs that increases with each kill. Yeah. So she, I believe that she's a cleric bard. So here's the thing,
Yeah.
hand to
Cleric
God,
bard.
I was gonna say cleric bard, but the thing is, Bob was an Aasimar cleric bard, and I was like, she can't have been two Aasimar cleric bards.
You can do
Spoiler
what she
alert.
wants.
She can. Yeah. So there it is.
I tried out a cleric party last year, and it was one of my favorite things. And I was also an Asbar, just fly. I was playing Mercy from Overwatch. I was just healing people while flying around.
It's a valid life strategy.
Yeah, and Vivga is playing Red Viper, correct?
Black Viper.
Black Viper.
Black Viper. That's right.
She's a Water Davian noblewoman by day and
Yes. Oh my God.
thief by night.
I used Black Viper in my Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, and it went really well because I was able to play both of her personas and everything. And then one of my players figured it out, and he was a rogue. She's a rogue. They're standing on a cliff. They're fighting. He stabs her with a poison blade and then asks her out on a date.
Ballsy move there.
It was.
I could see Black Viper going full like Red Sonja type thing though. Like you got to get this
Right?
far for me to yeah. Black Viper's kind of like a huntress type though. Like she's famous. She's this famous adventuring rapscallion who has a secret identity. Yep. And this was not announced last week. Dylan and I got to announce it on Thursday. Our guest is going to be Luke Gygax playing freaking Melf. The Melf of Melf's Acid Arrow, Melf's Minute Meteors. He's the Melf.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Like I've had the privilege of getting to know him and listen to some of his stories of growing up playing D&D with his dad, and like he's got stories of like Bixby, actually Bixby, Mordenkainen, actually Mordenkainen, and I'm like, what? I'm like, where did Mordenkainen's faithful hound come from? And there's a story, and he can tell it, and it happened.
awesome.
You're like, huh?
Yeah, no, like I was watching the stream with you and Dylan, and you're saying something about like how Melf's meteor was like made on the spot because he just needed something that wasn't Fireball to be Fireball. That's amazing.
Because he was in a situation, and I'm grossly paraphrasing. I apologize, Luke. That essentially he was like, well, I want to cast Fireball, and it's like, well, that'll hit everyone. It's like, then I need a smaller Fireball. I'll cast minute meteors.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, he's like 12 when this happens. Yeah.
That's wild.
So also we got Bailoff.
I'm gonna say Melf's fighter wizard.
Yes.
Yep.
And it just looks really cool with that like green sword in the picture. I keep looking up getting.
I love the little pirate versions of everybody.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna talk about with Bailoff. I love his tentacle beard. I love that he got the tentacle beard.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, that went full Davy Jones. Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
100%. Yep.
Go ahead.
Bailoff the Entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Which is his drow sorcerer that Mark plays. Mark, Aaron, and I played with Dungeon Drunks. Again, time is a flat circle. I think it was released 2 weeks ago. Lauren, help me.
It was released last week. It was recorded 2 weeks ago.
There we go.
Again, y'all, that really was like 12 streams ago. Like I don't know, it happened, Yeah. So where Bailoff and Habilar and Freely went on an adventure together. Although Habilar and Freely have adventured together before.
That's true. With Melf.
With
Black Viper.
With Melf and Black Viper. Yep, that is true. Together again. Yeah. Yeah, with that Satine ran that Idle Champions Adventure Force. Forget the name of the title. What was the name of that? Because it was like some like cursed farm or something. But what was
it's like the first thing in it's an early adventure
Oh,
in Champions.
the crazed cow thing, right? Maybe. I don't know.
God,
Teens in the
someone
chat, she'll
chat's
probably
gonna know
correct.
it was yeah.
It was creepy.
It was
creepy. But
it was like there's like cultists at a farm, you know, like it was like D&D Deliverance, but with more yeah.
Oh, more like demon grubs.
It's true. But we dealt with it. We saved the day. Yay. Yeah. So they, you know, now
Satine did such a good. I loved her Zuni voice.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that today because I was like, I gotta have my own Zuni voice, and I was like, am I even gonna try and duplicate Satine's Zuni voice, or am I just gonna do my own Zuni voice because Zuni is going to be filtered through freely anyway? So I
feel like either way, this is a win. Like, either you do her kind of deep Slavic lady voice that was delightful, or you have a different voice and it's delightful. I don't think there's a bad answer here.
It's true.
Evil Emperor Zerg comes to the rescue in the chat and says it was the cursed farmer.
There we
go. Cursed farmer.
Right? We said all those words.
Yeah, we said words out of
those words.
I know the was in there. Cursed was in there. Yeah.
Cursed was in there. the word farmer was in there.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing about Havilar. So Havilar's bringing Zuni, I guess, because we have an expert on Havilar. So I guess give us the elevated pitch on Havilar. Yeah.
So Havilar is Farida's twin sister. They are tieflings. They are descended from the warlock who made the original Asmodean pact and doomed all the tieflings to be like that. She is the pretty one, even though they're identical twins. And she's the fighter one. She's kind of a savant with her glaive. They were raised by a dragonborn, so she's culturally dragonborn. And she is. So this is sort of like an version of Havilar, because if we had her at the end of the 6 books, things would be different. If we had her at the beginning of the 6 books, it would be different. So this is where she is sort of an accidental chosen of Asmodeus, because when your great great grandmother makes a deal with the King of the Hells and thinks she's gonna outsmart him, and then he double crosses her, and you know, stuff happens. Gifts get split, and so what she has is she ends up with these imps that are sort of there to help her. And one of the first things they do, she needs to find somebody. She has to track them, and so she's like, "Can you give me something I can track?" And they bring her a Nessian Warhound puppy, which immediately imprints on her. And that's Zuni, which is short for Zunarella.
I was gonna ask you how you say that.
So Havilar's boyfriend in the series, her partner, is Bryn Crownsilver, who is a Cormyrian nobleman who runs away from home because his family is going to try to push him into the line of succession. And she, in trying to sort of like understand what's going on with him better, reads chapbooks about the overseers, who are just full of scandals, and decides she's going to name the dog after Azun the Fourth. But Azun is a boy's name and Zuni is a girl, so Azunarella is Zuni's actual name.
I love that. I love that so much.
So Nessian Warhounds are bred to obey all orders, so she is perfectly happy to do evil devil dog things, but only if you tell her to. She has like no moral compass. She just follows orders. She really likes following orders.
What's the name of the imps?
The imps change. So the first set of imps she gets are Mott and Dembo. But what happens is at the end of every book, one of them ends up getting killed.
Let me ask a different question, purely theoretically. You know, just for no reason in particular. What are the names of the current imps?
The current imps. Well, it's Havilar, and in Idle Champions she has all of them. So Mott is the main imp, so she would have Mott. Although, never mind. I am rambling, and I'm trying not to.
No, that's fine.
No,
I was literally going to ask you more about Havilar because the items, because you pointed out before we recorded that we didn't get to go through all them. You've gone through 3 of them already.
So Mott and Dembo are the first set, and then Alla, I think, is the next one, and then Bosch is the last one. At the end of the series, Mott does such a good job. Mott gets to ascend into a new form, but because this is Havilar, she gets to keep Mott and whoever. And you know, if she has a 4th imp because Bosch got killed because he's really not very smart, like imps can be, then that makes sense too.
You know what, y'all? I'm not even gonna put any thought into how I'm gonna voice the imps. I'm gonna just let the imps show up when she calls them, and we're gonna see what happens.
Heck yes.
Y'all are gonna know when I know.
I have had 2 DMs playing Havilar pull in imps, and they have spontaneously done incredibly similar voices for them. So I am curious. I'm very curious.
I have a request.
I mean, if you remember, you remember, but
I have a request. This is just a request. Don't say if you're going to do it or not or anything like that. Just take it under consideration.
First of all, the answer is yes. I'm going to do it. Yes.
If one of the imps could have your old man D&D voice.
Wait, what are they? Back in my day, we were still in their best. You see, it's a blood war. As far as you can see, it's conflict, and that's all it was there.
What I really love about that is that I don't really remember what the deal is with Dembo. I think Dembo was sort of like, if you said you can't do it, he immediately was like, I'm going to do it. But each of them was sort of like loosely based on sort of a annoying player trait. So Ala is really obsessed with the specific rules as they are written, even when they're not correct, or assumptions that you come in with, like, you know, if like a cleric acts like this and a fighter acts like this, and if you're the chosen of Asmodeus, we need to find you some evil cultists to hang out with because that's what they do. And Maud is just constantly going, oh my god, shut up. And then Bosch is constantly distracted by irrelevancies, like the glazing on the windows and what the actual name of like Zariel's throne is, and just like not focused. So the idea of like having an imp that wants to talk about how he did it in a previous, how it would have worked in a previous, it's not like a super annoying, it can be, right? And when you're sitting at the table, you're like, okay, so that's how it worked in 2e, but for now, what would you like to do on your turn? I love it.
Just an imp start rambling about Thaco. Yeah. Yeah. Armor class, a low number was better, you see, and you had to calculate that.
I think they have that in the game too, if I remember right. When I was coming up with like what they should say, it was like one of them, now I can't remember which one was which because they sort of blend. I think Bosch talks about how the economy of the game is really out of whack, and Ala is like, if you look back to the left, the world just ends. Why are we not concerned with that? These little like meta commentaries that are like, this doesn't matter, but that's what they do.
I
love it.
So like I said, we went through quite a few of the items there just by happenstance. But there's one on here that I need to ask you about that is on Havilar's item list: The Lonely Widow. It's a book with a frilly little a bookmark there that I want. What is The Lonely Widow? So
it's a chapbook, and one of the things in the series that Bryn and Havilar's relationship, they have a very like sweet puppy like first love kind of relationship, and what it starts to form around is that they buy these chapbooks and they read them to each other. And this is like this kind of date thing they do. And The Lonely Widow is a reference to, I think in Lesser Evils, they buy a stack of chapbooks and Bryn is reading it, and he does apparently a really hilarious voice for The Lonely Widow. But you'll notice that Farida also has a bunch of Havilar's chapbooks in her bag. They just end up everywhere. She's got a bunch. She might have more coming soon. I don't know.
Okay. She also has a spear, Devil Slayer. In the artwork, I'll put up again quickly for reference. Havilar has a harpoon.
Yes. So, I love they replaced her glaive with a harpoon.
I know.
It's so piratey.
I absolutely freaking love that. It says the Devil Slayer spear, though, is that something special that she got? Or glaive? Oh, my apologies.
No, technically in the books they're all the same glaive. She just keeps trying to name it something impressive. It's kind of a Ship of Theseus thing too. Like some of it breaks, she fixes some of it. It's still the same glaive. But yeah, she goes through Cutter, which is really boring. Justice, which feels very overdone. Eater of her enemies' livers, which is really badass, but maybe too many words. I think she eventually settles on Devil Slayer when she kills an Irenaeus with it.
Nice.
That sounds badass.
Yeah. And one of the other ones on here that I even told you before this, I straight up bought 3 chests this weekend on Idle Champions so I could get it because I love it, is The Fanciest Dress.
Havilar's a girly girl. She's a bruiser, but she likes to be She likes to be pretty and fancy.
I love that so much.
I mean, I identify with that on a spiritual level.
Right? Like, why pick one? You can be both.
Porque no los dos. Yes.
So the other person we got in here is Freely, the luckiest boy. I don't think we can go too much into like why he's there and whatnot. But
why isn't he there?
It's true. Why isn't he always there? He's hanging out with Trovis in the snowdrifts.
There it is.
Watching over it.
Ever vigilant. Yeah. He's just sleeping back there. He hasn't been beheaded. You know,
he's just sleeping.
He's just sleeping. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's funny because the original way that Freely appeared in Beyond Heroes way back when is he was like basically stuck in like this like splinter of Ravenloft that the heroes were stuck in. And then the second time he just showed up because he essentially had stole a Mind Flayer ship and went looking for them. And then like it just kind of became the conceit that he literally just dropped in places, like literally fell out of the sky and was like, I'm here now, because that's his life. You know, he's like, it doesn't make any sense to me either, but here I am. So yeah, that's
a solid solid conceit to work with. Like, how do you get there? He's lucky.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Came around the corner and there you were. Like, oh, hi, hello everybody. Yeah. So, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a grand old time. Again, once they lined up the heroes and they wanted me to run the game and everything, I was like, you know, I'm bringing Freely though, right? Like, I'm going to. Like, he's gonna be part of the formation. Like, he just is. You know. Yeah. Right. So, be a grand old time.
I love it.
It's a big freaking group. Havilar's got 5 attachés. Baloth has Chauncey, his genie. You know, like, that's okay.
There's a whole posse coming along.
It's a football team of people here for Fleetswake. That's all right. We're gonna work it out, y'all. We're gonna have a good time.
Yes, and as a reminder, that is happening today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be there in the chat. I hope you will be as well.
And the next round of voting opens basically right when we're done here, 17 minutes. So actually, does that mean today's vote is still going on?
I believe so. If you haven't voted, go now and vote.
Open a new tab so you can still hear us. Like, don't leave. But you know,
don't leave. I mean,
right? Don't leave.
the best show on a Monday morning. Come on, don't leave.
Exactly. Like statistically speaking, we are superior to all other Monday morning content. That's true. From 11 to 12 Pacific, we rule with an iron fist. Yeah.
So let's see what chat's been going on here. Gamer Cabot says, this is in reference to Vivka's birthday. Here's a birthday cake. Shh, nobody tell her that the candles are dynamite.
Full Wile E. Coyote birthday celebration. Yeah.
Garwar comes with a question that hopefully Dylan doesn't have to kill me for asking. What unfair sea will this adventure be taking place on or near?
Sword Coast. It's on the Sword Coast.
Love it. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
Garwar comes back with talking about Aaron ended up playing Zuni. The Hound of 1,000 Evans.
It is the Hound of 1,000 Evans. That is true.
Oh my goodness.
Star Chaser 43 says, Aaron, mess up the game. I mean, she could play. She could always bring up Frida, right? You have talked about you don't want to play Frida on stream.
I am not. I don't know how to translate Frida back into a D&D character and have her be interesting because she doesn't. She's complex and very based on her interiority, and maybe I could do it. Maybe I could do it.
You know, here's the thing. You've said this a couple of times, and every time I don't say anything. But now let's talk about this. Let's unpack this a little bit here. Dare I say, are we not all based on our interiority? You know, I mean, here's how you play the character. You roll a warlock, and then when stuff happens, you're like, what would Farida do? And then you do those things.
But so much of like what makes a compelling D&D character, right? We do these things where we say, well, what are your bonds and your and your flaws and stuff like that. And so being able to condense it down into one snappy, hooky thing, cool. When you do that in a book, and you do that in a 6-book series, you get things that dig down a lot, because it would get very tiresome if it was like, here are my 3 shticks.
But you just told us about Havilar's full growth and trajectory, and you can do
right.
Havilar.
She started out with a couple of shticks, and I gotta tell you, like, this is one of the things that stresses me out about playing Havilar, is that I end up leaning on the shticks and not on the beautifully complex, heart-wrenching content that comes out of Havilar's deeper self.
That's why people got to read the books, yo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. I probably could do it. I don't know that it would be as fun to watch next to characters that are much easier to express in action and in like dialogue voice that's got a lot of what am I thinking of?
Words.
Like
Character. Like they're very
character,
yeah.
And I'm not saying
you can play an e-girl.
Bad character, which I feel like is where this is going, and that's not what I'm saying. It's just that it's, when you spread it out, it gets to be a lot more little subtleties, and it's like this is your chunk of time to do it. Having somebody condensed and more easy to express in those little bursts is better.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I believe in you. I think you could do it.
This next question, I think I can go ahead and answer this. Hazen says, how tall is Umberlee? The answer is yes.
7 Cs, more or less.
She is the answer is she is height.
I feel like you could probably do some kind of physics calculation about how high a wave can get before it crashes, and then at least double it.
Well, but she's the ocean and the
I
sky.
think
now.
a joke.
It's bigger
Aaron
than
made
that.
a legit good answer.
It's bigger than that. It should be.
So here's the thing. Here's what I would say her height. I would say it is from the depths of the seas to the height of the storm cloud. So it's whatever that, because she's storms also. So it's whatever that is.
I love it. Disabled and Dragon says, this is in reference to Uberlee and the treasure. She's like Ariel. She has a room with all of her thingamabobs and sings to it in front of crabs.
Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Let me stop before we get DMCA.
I feel like,
thank
in
you.
between she's like, are you listening?
It's true. Yeah. She's like Ursula and Ariel, which is funny.
She's like, give me your notes.
If somehow this happens...
First, choke on the negatives.
Also, just for the record, Little Mermaid, my favorite music. I know all the songs. I hate Ariel. She's my least favorite Disney princess. Everything is Ariel's fault. Watch that movie again. She's wrong 100% of the time.
Also, if somehow they do end up somehow in this situation of seeing Uberlee singing to her treasure, can you please have Mark Meir voice the crab?
Right. See, it's funny though, because if we're like Uberlee singing to the treasure, I just had her go just full King Louis. I want to be like you singing to the treasure is where my mind went, So yeah, right.
Let's see. Let's go with...
Also, for the record, I did a version of I Want to Be Like You as Trovis for D&D Live 2019, where I actually sang it. It's on Instagram, where he sang his own version of I Want to Be Like You. It's on Instagram, kids.
Oh, yeah. Like the Star Chaser 43 in quote says, Uberlee, donations are down 3.5% this year. Perhaps it's time for a hurricane you've been planning.
Here's the thing. This is I understand Uberlee's business model here, because if it's like, yes, you can throw coins over as offerings, or I can sink the ship and have all of them. So
it's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
RoboGoblin01 says, what if I just worship Oriel because I love owlbears?
That's a valid life choice.
Valid.
It is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Garwar, here we go. Here's a question. What is Freely's parrot's name, and what words/phrases does it know?
You want to know what I found out about Freely having a parrot? When that poster came. So uncharted territory, y'all. I mean, I've done a lot of Kinku. I already know what's going to happen. That when the parrot arrives, I'm just going to keep track of what people say around it, and that's going to be.
I love it.
That's what I do with the Kinku. I just keep track of what people say at the table, and that's what the Kinku's got. Yeah.
Parrot came about because the internet. Its name should just be Parrot McParrotface. But that's just me.
You know what?
Name it Trevor. Name the parrot Trevor.
Well, I mean, TreAvor.
TreAvor.
Yeah, no, name it TreAvor.
TreAvor.
You know why? Because I had to live through my teenage years being told I was the frog from Harry Potter. So could we get a TreAvor in there? It wasn't even spelled my way. In those
I'm naming the
books.
parrot TreAvor. Yep, got it. Done.
Right, there we go. It's canon.
Done. TreAvor,
From a
the parrot.
frog to a parrot.
It's a flying dinosaur. It's valid. It's an upgrade.
Let's see. Uzor. I think that's how you say that. Wait, Aaron, can you say more about Frida getting more of Habilar's books?
No, I cannot. I shouldn't have said that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Let's see. Brian Cortillo says, a question for Aaron of 1,000 Evans. When can we expect to see you play? Oh my God, what is this? Verana Goldfeather on stream.
You know, somebody make a stream where it makes sense for me to be a super bitchy Cormyrean noblewoman who gets around but is an amazing crack shot with an arrow, and I will be there with her.
You say that like there's another kind of stream, Aaron. At first I was like, done, me, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's like all of them. Yeah.
Well, then I just, you know, I need the invite. That's it.
Promiscuous, sharp shooting noblewoman. Yeah,
I love her. She is a secondary character in Fire in the Blood. She's Queen Raedra now is somebody that people probably know, but she was Princess Raedra in Fire in the Blood, and that is one of her best friends. And she is incredibly loyal, but incredibly gossipy and mean, but really loyal. And yeah, she shot a shade through the eye.
That's
and
cool.
Then was very excited about how much action that was probably going to get her.
I love it.
I identify with this character as well on a spiritual level.
If I could write any kind of self-indulgent Forgotten Realms novel, it would be a road trip novel with Verana, and then I have this granny. One of my characters, his grandmother turned out to be a Zhentarim sword captain. So Sasika, Verana, and then this high fashion assassin from my first book.
I love it.
I don't know what they'd do, but they'd be very entertaining.
It sells itself.
I gotta say, Aaron, one of the many reasons I love you is because you said D&D novel and road trip in the same sentence. Like it's not an adventure, it's a road trip. I love that.
Well, I mean, that's a form. That's a particular form of adventure.
I mean, again, in a manner of speaking, are they not all road trip adventures?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So,
but I need National Lampoon's vacation, but like D&D.
This is one of those like deeper conversations, because I've been researching road trip novels / movies and what makes something a road trip novel / movie for other projects. And so part of me is like, no, they're not all. but I, in a sense, I can see, yeah.
I just appreciate when we have the Aunt Bethany, is your house on fire clock scene. The answer is yes, the house is actually on fire. It is, like 100%. Aunt Bethany's a great old one. You could form a pack with her as a warlock. Are we going to the airport park?
That, unfortunately, is going to be all the time we have this week for some lore. Aaron, B-Dave, where can people find you, and what awesome things are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can find me on Wednesdays at 6:30 playing Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers, twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers. Which this week we have a guest DM, Nate Crowder, who is going to take us on a adventure involving the Shao district of Westgate. And you can you can see me today at 4:00 on Idle Champions Presents The Unfair Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Which 4 PST.
I feel like I should have let that to you, but that's okay.
No, hey,
no, it really.
I would have hurt your feelings, and I would have felt really bad. So.
No, I would have sassed you mercilessly if you didn't. Because again, this happened when we did Dungeon Drunk. She listed all the stuff she did, and she didn't list this show. I'm like, Aaron, you know, there's a thing we do, right? You know that, right? Okay, right. So that's you chose correctly. You have chosen wisely. B. Dave Walters. I do this everywhere anybody will let me. If you yesterday we did Alice is Missing on the Good Time Society. It is a very unusual and interesting game. You should watch that VOD. It was me, Gina DeVivo, Aki, and Mark Meir, and Spencer Stark, the creator of the game. It was really interesting. It's very unusual, but it it takes us some time to get started because there's a lot of setup, but when the game starts, it is gut wrenching. You should watch it. I say that like, you know, when you take the milk out of the carton, you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Smell it. You know? Yeah. Like, just watch it. This Mondays, 11. Voting is going to open up in 4 minutes. Again, if you haven't voted for today's thing, go on Idle Champions, vote now. And the new vote's going to come up for week 2 in 4 minutes. Going to be back here at 4 o'clock for Idle Champions presents The Unfair Seas. And that's an unannounced thing. That's an unannounced thing. Bunch of unannounced things. So yeah, just follow me on the tweetagrams at B-Dave Walters when I can tell you about some dope stuff that's coming. But the dopest of things is coming today. And just as an aside, I'm literally booked from 11 a.m. to midnight nonstop today. So this is a day of days. Yeah. And and it is. And I can't wait for you to meet my parrot TreAvor.
Well, you can do that right now. I'm here. You can find me on the Difficulty Class podcast every Friday and on Twitter at the TreAvor. There's an A hiding in there, as well as on Champions of Psychology on Tuesdays on this same network, twitch.tv/CNE Games at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be having some good conversation tomorrow. Hope you join. If you missed the show or any part of it, you can find it on your favorite podcast service at 2 p.m. today. And if you have any suggestions, podcast listeners or current Twitch viewers, you can send those in for topic suggestions of what we're going to talk about to championsoflore@codenameentertainment.com. And if you're live with us right now, come back at 4 p.m. for Idle Champions Presents The Unfair Seas. Improvised Champions is going to be on a break, so you know, it's not going to be going on today, but the game will be happening at 4 p.m. Like I said, I am going to be there in chat. I hope you will be as well. It's going to be some fun times. I hope nobody gets blown up on their birthday. But yeah, that is going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, Champions out.